I look at the S&P and QQQ the most. So, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been filming, all these videos for the Technical Tuesday series, or see, I can't even talk anymore. For the small account series, the past like 48 hours, I feel like I've been in front of this camera the entire time. This is a lot of work that we're putting into this, and so I am a little bit of exhausted and kind of like tired being in front of the camera, but I want to do a Q&A session right now for the first like 15 minutes. I know it's a little bit later, but and then I will go ahead and recap some NVIDIA trades from today and go over those, and then that'll kind of be it for tonight. I've done like a lot of content that is coming out, and I'm not saying that it comes in place of Technical Tuesday, but it's definitely kind of been a longer couple days. So, but for the time being, for the next like 15 minutes, I'll just answer questions from the live chat. Should be like below the screen that you guys have. And like I said, I'll try to answer as many questions as I can and go over stuff, and you know, it can be about the small account, it can be about whatever. Nice close on NUZE, by the way. NUZE, back at 477. I have a 498 average on this right now. Those 430 ads were money, so we'll see. How do you feel about the overall sentiment of the market going into tomorrow following Powell's statements? Honestly, guys, I don't really care too much. Like, I'm going to trade what's in front of me, not worry about like what Powell said. Honestly, here's how I feel about it. The market hates inflation, especially like these growth stocks like NVIDIA, Tesla, right? Like all these names, they don't like inflation. That is like the one thing where it's like inflationary talk is, you know, you can have COVID worries and we bounce back like nothing, right? Because if COVID happens again, honestly, you guys have to think about this. If we have another COVID outbreak and the Omicron variant or whatever the hell variant ends up being actually serious, tech stocks are happy. Interest rates are going to go back to literally zero, right? If that happens, like it's a weird concept to think about. And while there will be a massive crash, if we ever see something like that happen, the recovery plays are going to be tech stocks, because, you know, all these super high growth companies like Affirm and, you know, like Lemonade and all these companies that aren't truly profitable yet, right? They're like, you know, they're not truly making a profit. These companies love that. That means debt is cheap, right? And that's what they love. So you have to think about that. I think the market was actually a little kind of hoping that the COVID stuff was a little bit worse, because that means that we would get a stall on the tapering, right? Like we wouldn't have the tapering happen as soon as we were originally thinking. And I think that would have been honestly an overall positive for the market and really bullish. I think that's why you saw a lot of names break out yesterday and then today, right? That's definitely not what the market wanted to hear. So I don't know. It really, if SPY breaks 455, we're like not looking good, right? Like we're going to see further downside. Don't approach it from a non-technical standpoint, right? Like I can talk about emotions all I want and the sentiment, but in reality, guys, this is what matters, right? And that's, you know, are we going to hold the trend? I don't even know why I'm on the daily right now. I'm going to go to the hourly SPY. Under 455, we're going to see some serious downside. And I've talked about this. I'm going to pull up the daily right now, but you know, in terms of downside, if we break under 454.05, that was our prior resistance, and then we broke out and we've gone up since. If we break under that resistance, which was from which is now support from September, we're going to see some further downside. I think we see 447 at the very least, right? That's my target. I'm going to get really heavy in SPY puts under that level because we're going down. I don't know if Apple's legit going to let us go down. That's the thing, right? Is Apple is so heavily weighted, and people just don't stop buying. It's crazy. I saw someone mention that, like, yeah, funds are using Apple as like a cash reserve, right? So instead of holding cash, they're just holding Apple because, you know, it's been pretty steady, right? And you have to think that the market weakness isn't, unless something really bad happens, the market weakness isn't going to hurt it. It's really just it's going to help, right? And I said that today. I was like, how the hell is Apple green when the market is getting crushed, right? We have the VIX over 23. That's what I don't like. The VIX being up like that is what worries me a bit. So Overall, guys, the level to pay attention to in terms of the overall sentiment of the market is the 454 level. Prior resistance, which has now been really strong support, right? We've tested it a few times. If we failed that level, I will be surprised if we fail that level, but if we do, get your SPY puts ready. Okay, question you get asked a lot, but I don't feel like your responses have helped. Charting wicks versus body. Answers often, it depends. Guys, it depends on the stock, right? Like, it depends. Every stock has a different personality, right? Like, some stocks, when they wick up, then, generally that is where they encounter more resistance. But you have to witness that. That comes with screen time. If you are just starting to chart the body of the candle and then also make a level at the wick and use both, right? It's not an exact science every single time. It's not like a prophecy that fulfills itself every single time, right? Like, you could look at NVIDIA on the 30-minute, right? And there's a ton of wicks, right? Well, today on NVIDIA, I personally chart out the wicks because, at a key level, like at really strong supports, NVIDIA tends to wick down. Like, you can see that on multiple time frames, right? Like, NVIDIA really likes to wick down. But when I see something like the body of all these candles closing at a certain price point, then I will use my key level there rather than, maybe like having it here where these two wicks are, right? I would use the body of these candles because I saw 5 consecutive 30-minute candles close over this level. Clearly that's our, major support, right? So... yeah, so I'm trying to elaborate. I saw that question in the live chat is about, the candle body versus the candle wick. Hopefully that helps. If you're using a stock like NVIDIA, which is one of the ones I trade all the time, remember, it tends to really like to wick down at major support levels like 318. And then I use like intraday on like a shorter time frame. I'll use the body of the candle like on the 30-minute and things like that for like if I see multiple candles close over a certain price point, right? But, as far as like charting out something like resistance on NVIDIA, I would have a line here at the top of the body of this red candle, right? But then I would also have a level, where we've seen these wicks kind of top out, right? And so because you can see there's a wick right here, and then, that wick right here aligns with the body of this candle. So I'm not going to put another level right here, right? Because it just, doesn't make a ton of sense. But if you would like to get extremely technical with it, you could put another level right here, right? Because the body of this candle closed right here, and then you have another wick. It just depends. How do you want your chart to look, right? Like, if you want a billion lines, which is how I was when I started, my advice would be to start out that way, really get technical about the levels, and then refine it on every stock that you trade, right? That's why I suggest when you just start charting to get really comfortable with a few stocks. Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's a good saying, is that support and resistances really aren't exact levels. They tend to be zones. That's very true. Like, you see like support and resistance will be in a general like $2 range, whereas key levels are more like to the penny, right? Like very specific price points. Yeah, guys, like, honestly, if you're gonna follow the $1,000 account challenge and you're not like a more experienced trader, don't be putting 80% of your account into play. In my opinion, I would put like less than half. I would put like a third. Make $300. If you're gonna do $1,000 account challenge, maybe put $300 in every play. Rather than like me, I'm going to probably put like 600 to 700 in every play. Do it slower. Put 500 in, put 300 in, put 100 in. If you're like really new to options and like you really still need to figure everything out, start with $100 a play or just one contract, right? And just focus on getting 10 to 15 or 20% gains, and you will seriously like see a transformation of growth in terms of your account, in my opinion. How do I come up with my daily watch list? That's a great question. Every single morning when I wake up, what I do is, so first off, guys, I have a good memory. And again, I say this all the time. I'm not trying to brag, but like memory is one of my like really strong things. Like, I have a very, very I don't have not saying I have photographic memory or anything like that, but I remember like things like key levels really well. I'm actually my spelling is horrible and I tend to, mix up my letters sometimes, but I'm very good with numbers in terms of like, I'm not great at math, but I'm very good at regurgitating numbers that I've seen before and like have, traded with, right? Like I can tell you where the key levels are in NVIDIA by heart. I don't need to look at the chart, right? So, which is huge because I can like pull up the chart really quickly and know that there's like a key. Like that's how it was today with the puts. Like I saw NVIDIA breaking below that level and I automatically knew that 327 was a major key level. And I'll kind of talk about that trade now, right? So guys, a lot of people are asking like, okay, how did you know that the 327.48 level was going to be so big, right? Like, how did you know that we were going to see such a downside move off that? Okay, guys, this is an easy answer, right? This is not hard. Yesterday, right, we traded the long side of NVIDIA. And where did we see the true breakout? And I want you guys to listen closely because this is a really important concept to grasp, right? Write this down. If there's a key resistance to the long side, so like AKA, if you remember, I traded this breakout on NVIDIA yesterday. What was the key level? It was 327.48. That's where I entered in on the trade. And I remembered that today because that was a humongous resistance, right? Which that goes back to levels on the hourly and the daily, but that was a key resistance point that we traded yesterday, right? And when we broke out of it, look at, we got a, $10 move up or $8 move up, right? So you can, that's just how stocks work. If you see that move to the downside, right, which we saw today, that level is going to act just as strong to the downside. So if we see a level and it breaks really strong to the upside and you get a big breakout, we like the next day, like today, break below that level, right, which was 327.48, look what happened, guys. Are you guys seeing this? Do you understand? When we broke the level to the downside, we saw just as powerful of a move down. Look, I think it was probably an $8 move. It was 328. We broke down, and then look at that, right? So the 327.48 level, we broke down, and we saw a move to 318 today. Look at that, a $9 move, $8 move. That's insane. We saw an $8 move up. So when we break that level to the downside, we see an $8 move down. It's not going to work out every time like that where it's an exact dollar amount, but if a move is strong to the upside, I automatically know in my head that that key level is going to act as a really strong downside trigger as well. Let me know in the live chat if that makes sense because that's a really big concept that you need to understand. Let me know in the live chat if that makes sense, guys, because I really want that concept to sit in, and I don't want you to just like hear me like rambling. Like strong move to the upside, if that key level acts as a key trigger, if it acts as a trampoline to the upside, if you break that key level downwards, it's going to act just the same. It's going to act as a strong propellant to the downside. Cool. So just think about it, right? Like if a key level, remember, like think of it like a trampoline, right? So if that 327 level, we saw this big move up, if it acts like a trampoline to the upside, that same key level, right, is going to act like a, trampoline to the downside. If that was a thing, if you could trampoline in reverse to, like, you know what I mean? Like it's going to act as a serious propellant for the stock to go down, right? Does that make sense? Good. I'm happy this makes sense. This is like literally so key. This is like one of the major things. I talk about it all the time, but that is why they are called key levels. They aren't called key levels because they're support and resistances. They're called key levels because they cause major moves in either direction. And this was one of the, it was like a light bulb went off in my head when I learned how to do this, right? When I learned that key moves to the upside are going to act the same way to the downside. Like literally, I'm not kidding, guys. We broke over 327 yesterday, right? And then look at where we topped out, 336. So we saw a $9 move up. Like, is that not crazy that today we see a move to the downside and we go from 327, right? 327.48, same level as yesterday, to 318. So we saw an $8.50 move to the downside, almost $9. It's literally like, that's an insanely good example to use. And I want you guys to really soak that in because it's something that you will never forget. Once that light bulb goes, you will use it every single day trading. Does that make sense, guys? Like, let me know in the live chat. I want to make sure that makes sense before I move on to the next thing. Ceiling trampoline. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Cool. Yeah, go back and watch the key level vids. You can go back and watch this too, and you can listen to me talk about that concept a million times, right? But using the hand examples for like a reason, right? It's like it's a very basic concept, and it seems so hard to understand, but once you do, it's you'll never go back. Right. So those key levels, they act as, it's like adding fuel to a fire, right? If a stock is going up, that key level can be the fire that ignites the stock up. And that same key level is going to act like just the same amount of fuel that makes a fire get bigger to the downside, right? So it's going to cause strong moves in both directions. So do I trade from phone or PC? I sometimes get fills on my phone for options orders, but oftentimes my PC. I only chart on my PC. I'm never like actively in a trade usually like on my phone unless it's like I've had a really good day and like I'll take like a lotto trade if I have to like run an errand. Like I might leave it open, but I do not recommend that. What helped you identify that key level again, like before the move up a day ago? So the place that I got that key level, guys, was on the hourly. And I'm going to clear my chart because, why not? Guys, that key level doesn't come from just anywhere. That key level came from here, right? So look at this level and look at how it acted as a move. Like look at the strong move down that we saw under 327. So as you can see, I have 327 marked right now. It's almost like a line in the sand. It's like if it goes above that level, NVIDIA is going to go, and make a serious move up. And there's another spot at 328.60 that's also key. This is not the perfect example because there's two key levels right here, but as you can see, guys, when we broke down below 327 back on the 22nd, look at the move we saw on NVIDIA, right? Once we broke over 327, right, we made new all-time highs last week, and then the minute that we broke under 327 is when we saw a big move down. That move under 327, right, once we broke that line, it caused a, $20 move to the downside. So therefore, it's a key level because it was a major area. You can tell it's a key level because look at the size of the red candle that comes after we broke down below 327, right? Like you can tell that it's a key level because you can see how much selling pressure came in once we broke 327, right? And I understand that's like kind of a more difficult concept at first to grasp, but look at the price action once we broke 327, right? So do I have to go back and delete levels often? I don't because I can memorize the levels. So if I have to delete them for like a stream or whatever, like I actually use I'm actually using the account that I'm going to be doing the challenge account on to chart for the streams because in all honesty, I don't like removing my levels much because they can be really helpful. But sometimes if a stock has had like a big move, like after Tesla went from like 700 to like 1200 in the last couple months, I had to kind of redo my levels and find it just got too cluttered, right? What causes support and resistance? That's an awesome question and a really simple one to answer. Guys, the chart is a map of our psychological behavior. Period. Point blank. It does not get any more, like that's it. Period. This just illustrates how people are thinking, right? That is why when you see panic, you see charts flush really hard and you see a lot of selling. That's people mentally panicking. They don't want to lose money. They care about money, right? So they sell. When people buy, that means they don't want to miss out on a run. They think the stock's going to go up. Basically, on today, for example, if you're looking at the 5-minute chart on NVIDIA, there is support at 318 because people mentally believe that, okay, we feel comfortable buying NVIDIA at 318, right? And guess what? People feel that NVIDIA was overvalued at 336. That's why they sold it, right? It's that simple, guys. It really is that simple. How do you feel bid, mid, or ask? Oftentimes, if I'm going to fill on support, like on a retest on something, I'll probably slap the bid because I'm not that picky. Like, I'm confident enough that the trade is going to go my way where 1 cent isn't always the biggest thing for me. Unless it's something like Riot, like usually, like, if it's a smaller contract price, I'm going to try to get filled like as low as possible because obviously every penny matters. But if it's like something on NVIDIA, do I care whether I get filled at 108 or 110? Sure, like I get it that those small percentages add up, but oftentimes I've been in spots where I've just tried to be on the bid or the mid price and I end up, I'm already getting a great entry and I kind of miss out on the opportunity, and I don't like to do that. I like to take advantage of A+ opportunities. Will the challenge account trades be any different from high confidence trades that you take normally? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to only be taking like extremely high confidence trades on this account. Like, I don't know how else to put that, but this is going to be like selective to the max, like selectivity on steroids. Like, I would have to feel comfortable putting half my account or something like that in this type of trade. Like, I need to feel iron confidence. Because if I was on a small account again, I would only be taking like the best setups, like A+ setups strictly. I would not settle for anything less. That's why I'm not trading the open. That's why we are trying to manage risk. On a small account, the way to success is managing your risk. You don't let the market take your money, basically, right? That's kind of how it works. Yeah, I think doing a video or exercise on pick the key level, that'd be cool. That's a good idea for like a technical Tuesday. Probably not something I can just do on the spot, but I'm using a Webull cash account for the challenge account. If you try to do this challenge account on PDT, you are going to get screwed. There's a link in my Manz bio to sign up for a cash account on Webull. Don't try to do this stuff on a margin account or you're going to get screwed. Will there be days that you don't take a trade on a small account? Absolutely. I've said that. The guys, like, there might not be a day, like last Friday, for example. I don't know if I really saw, like, maybe Moderna was an A+ setup last Friday, but in reality, nothing that I would have been like, this is something I'll take on the small account, right? So, like, and that's okay, guys. I think you need to understand that it is okay if you don't take a trade every single day, right? Like, I'm not going to feel any pressure. Even though I've set a goal of March to hit 25K, I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to get this done quickly. It's the opposite of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach you guys that if you are extremely selective and wait for really A+ opportunities, that account growth is not out of the question to like an accelerated level, right? Yep. So stocks are literally just like people. That's the thing. I talk about that all the time. Why do you think that IPOs have such a hard time finding support and resistance? Right? Well, that would be like trying to know a baby's personality 3 days out of the womb. Like, look at this. This is just like, this chart is extremely choppy. This is when a firm IPO'd. I talk about this in my video all the time, but you're like, Jesus, where, I guess like support is our like low point, but like that didn't act as support for long, a couple weeks, right? Like there's like a firm needed to figure itself out, right? And now it's figured itself out. There's really strong support in the 40s, right? And there's really strong resistance at whatever the all-time high is now. And there was really strong resistance at all-time highs before, which was 150. And that's why we had a hard time getting over it. But, right. And now there's strong support in the 120s, right? That's the whole thing, guys, is that, and like, look at that 126 level is not a strong support out of nowhere, right? That 124, 126 level is a strong support right now because it used to be a strong resistance, right? So it's just old resistance turning into new support. And we talk about that all the time. Do you use hotkeys to buy and sell for a better fill? I don't, man. I'm not the hotkey guy. But I'm living proof that you don't need them to succeed. So, yeah. So, I really think that's important. What do you prefer, buying off of support and resistance for reversal or waiting for a break of support and resistance, then confirmation? Confirmation always. Depends what type of day it is, though, too. So it's really big. Really, really big. Hopefully this was helpful, guys. I really, I didn't actually intend to go over that concept of like why key levels generate the moves they do. And that's honestly a fantastic idea for one of the videos for the small account challenge series. I'm trying to make this be comprehensive for beginners. You guys are going to love the first video. But yeah, so how will you set up your scanner to pick trades? I'm not using a scanner to take these trades. I'm going to trade the same stocks that I trade every single day, guys. I repeat, do not use a scanner almost ever. I do not need a scanner. And you don't need a scanner either. If you want the honest truth, you don't need a scanner. A scanner might be overcomplicating things for you because you're looking so many different places trying to trade so many different things. You are literally making this game so much more complicated. You're making your head go in a tailspin because you don't know what to trade. You're looking for news, yada, yada, yada. Guys, I traded NVIDIA 5 times today. 5. Long, short, it didn't really matter because you just play the levels. You don't need a scanner. If you're a beginner and you are trying to use a scanner, right? I can't tell you what to do, but I would probably say you shouldn't do that because I tried to do scanners and like all this stuff and like, no thanks. If I could go back and teach myself anything, I would be like, dude, learn key levels, learn to trade 3 stocks that you really know well. 3 stocks like like the back of your hand, and you will be on an accelerated path to being successful and a profitable trader. Period. That's my rant for today. I haven't done a rant on a live in a long time. That's my rant. You don't need your scanner. Cut it out. You don't need it at all. Did you ever see yourself making educational content when you started trading? Absolutely not. I always knew I would do something, but I didn't think this would be it. If you honestly want the truth, but I love this shit now. It's what gets me up in the morning. And I think I'm lucky that I have something that I am motivated to get out of bed for every single day. And I think you guys should appreciate that too. If you're trading full time and you're lucky enough to be making an income off it, treat it as a job. And honestly, I'm thankful for it because I love this stuff, guys. I really do. And it keeps my brain moving and it keeps me, alive. I think that's like a lot of people, you see them and they're just like kind of like a dead person walking. They don't really have a ton of motivation. And this stuff, I learn something new every single day, guys. You have to understand, I'm not the greatest to ever do it. I will never claim to be, nor will I ever say that I know everything because I don't. Guys, I still learn new stuff every single day. And it's beautiful. That's the beautiful part about this game is that it teaches you new things every single day. And there's more to digest and ways to perfect your craft. That is something to be thankful for. The point of this Patreon at its core is to pass on all that stuff that I lost money learning and hopefully accelerate the process for you guys and not cause you to lose money or have to go through the market tuition, quote unquote, as much, right? So yep. I've made a literal doctor salary off of Spotify, Coin, NVIDIA, whatever's hot and that I feel comfortable on, I'm going to trade it. And I have a stock that I know like the back of my hand for every sector, no matter what. Yeah, and I'm going to make guys, one thing I got a DM today and it was awesome, like really good idea. I'm going to make a list of like the 20 stocks that I know like the back of my hand and that I trade every day. And I'm going to give you guys like a full doc full of those stocks, how I learned them, what sector they're in, why I trade them. And like, hopefully that can be like a master list for you guys. I'm going to create an entire tab in the Discord for it. Does that sound like a good idea? Do you guys want that? If it's not like, I don't want to waste my time doing it. So if you guys are going to use it, tell me in the live chat and I'll do it. Yeah. So if I lucid, another 2 of them, right, that I'm really good at. Have you ever thought of putting other traders in this similar to Kane Capital? No. I am not trying to be any other Discord. And personally, I like the fact that this is like mine. I don't want any drama. I don't like drama. I don't like distractions. I don't like having to manage people. And actually, I do have some traders in here. Adam Silver, D-Book, all those guys, they're in the Discord. They're trying to do their own things too, though. So you have to respect that, you know what I mean? But they're in here. If you ever want to DM them and ask them questions, I'm sure they'll answer for you. So CCIV for old times, yeah. No, I don't think I need to bring in others, nor do I want to. I don't like drama. I don't like that just gets so sticky, and it's not me, guys. I'm always been kind of like, I do my own thing. I put the guys that are mods in here, like Adam and Bullishmont and Not D-Book and Joey and Willie, and those are like my best friends, and they're in here, and if they want to put content in here, great. Those guys are awesome, but they're also doing their own things. Like Adam's doing the league now, and like there's so many guys, like they have so much knowledge to share. They almost kind of need their own platform. So I support them. I love them. Those are great guys, and I highly recommend following them because you can gain knowledge from every source. But yeah. Nice. All right, guys. Honestly, I'm pretty freaking tired because I filmed this today and a small account challenge video, and yeah, so lots of content is being created. This is what I'm talking about when I say I work hard, guys. Like, I have to order dinner and find time to eat, and it's just like it's endless times and hours of creating, but it is worth it because I love it. And you know what, guys, and that's why, why this is what it is. So. Are you into OTC? Not at all. But I'll do another Q&A on Sunday. So if you have any questions or it didn't get answered, come back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the rant. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. As always, without your support, none of this is possible. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys on the pre-market live first thing in the morning. Let's get ready to kill it. Peace, guys. Be well. Thank you for tuning in.